The power round, okay?
Yes, let me tell you something. One for the Father, one for the Son,
That's what we did.
one for the Holy Ghost. Also, he up on the third day. You know what I'm saying? So it's something like the power of three. So we gonna just pray and believe that this is the one that's
It's
gonna work
fine.
because this is such a very much necessary conversation to have, and we're gonna have it.
Amen.
Okay, so we in there.
Are we in?
We
Okay.
in there.
All right. If you
Y'all
don't to
come
YouTube,
on in and please, as you come in, would you please leave a comment so that we can know you're here? Let us know what city you're in, where you're listening from. We so appreciate you for being here. Also appreciate your patience as we have navigated all of the technical issues this evening. Um, so, um, settings. Yeah. And also, as you come in, would you please share this? Would you please share to a friend that you think could benefit from this? A creator, a freelancer, a business owner, an entrepreneur. Please share this with them. And we're going to get started with this. I'm going to share to group. Share it there. And we're good on YouTube.
yes. I'm in on YouTube.
Okay.
Are we good on Facebook?
We're good on Facebook.
Okay, because I can't see the comments on Facebook. I will be able to see the comments on YouTube, so I'll let you know if someone says anything or
Hey, sis. Hey, cousin. Come on in. Come on in. Please share
happy.
this as you come in. Yeah, we're good. Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord.
Listen,
Ooh, mighty God. All right. So let's just jump in. We can skip the fluff, okay? Let's just skip the fluff. We are the host of Navigating Sisterhood, which is a podcast where we discuss all things friendship. And we wanted to do a special live stream to have a special conversation, not about friendship, but we wanted to merge our worlds. I help women, really everybody, but I help adult children heal from their mother wound, heal their mother wounds. And Mia, please tell them a bit about what you do.
I help overwhelmed business owners with providing structure and partnering with them for their vision.
So this conversation is going to be us merging those two. So we're going to be talking about the hidden costs of unhealed mother wounds in business. And Mia and I have talked about this a lot over the years, just what we've seen in business, what we've seen in from my perspective, what I've seen in people who struggle with the pain of mother wounds and how it impacts every single area of our lives. So I really believe we believe that this conversation will be really, really helpful to anybody who's in business or anyone who creates or sells anything. So before we jump into the meat of the conversation, I at least do want to lay some foundation and to explain what a mother wound is, so that there's context for the conversation. So I define a mother wound as an emotional injury caused by a generational deficit in the mother-child relationship that silences the child's authentic self and diminishes their sense of worth. And the mother wound often shows up as self critical behavior, as codependency, as controlling behavior, as perfectionism, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And what happens is when we don't do the necessary work to heal these core wounds, these wounds that began in our childhood, when we do not do the necessary work to heal them, they follow us. and they oftentimes are in the driver's seat of our lives. And what we think is just our personality or just our nature is actually woundedness. And this follows us in our careers. It follows us in corporate. It follows us everywhere. And tonight we're going to talk about how it follows us in business. Um, so
I'll
let's.
just I'll just add a few things there, because I do think it's important for everyone to understand that we're not here to bash, right, and to blame, right? We are really here to help all of us acknowledge the areas where we are limiting how we show up. We are limiting who we are in the marketplace because of these wounds. And a lot of we are saying hidden because you may not be aware of it. You may not, it may be this little sneak attack that's happening, that's eroding
Yeah.
your confidence, that's eroding the way you show up, and you may have also misplaced reasons why you're not doing certain things.
Mhm.
And so that's why we really wanted to bring this conversation forward, is because sometimes what you say, this is just who I am, is really a wounded version of who you are. It's not really who you are. In your definition, you talking about it. It covers our authentic self, like it muzzles it, it dims it. And so when you are shaped, when your identity is shaped in that, you really are not being the best version of yourself. And so again, another reason why we wanted to just bring this conversation forward, so that these sneak attacks, right, these small things, these small foxes that are happening over and over again in your life could be because of a mother wound that you haven't dealt with, that you haven't talked about, that you haven't thought about, that you never even had language for.
Yeah. Yeah. And to elaborate further on that, mother wounds, they aren't just about, I often say mother wounds, they aren't always just about what happened, the bad thing that happened. Sometimes it's as simple as what didn't happen. And it isn't always about this overt abuse or like really, really visible neglect. Mother wounds are about attachment. It's about safety. It's about affirmation. It's about emotional availability. It's all these little ways that we don't always have language for or don't always clearly connect the two. And I just want to make sure we understand that the mother wound is so important to heal it because it's less about the mom actually. Like like we're not here talking. We can get into that, talk about the mama stuff and get into that, but I want us to be clear in how this is impacting us today, like today. What we can dig up what happened later, but we're talking about how this is impacting us on a day to day basis. Um, so one of the ways mother wound shows up is often like a lack of affirmation or a lack of affection. Um, how have you seen that affect people's how people value their work or how they tie that their value in their work?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, what I've seen is that people actually do the most, right? And by do the most, I want to be really careful with how I'm saying that, because I do feel like that could be a trigger as well. But when you try to overperform for
Mhm.
affirmation, when you
Yeah.
try to do above and beyond and beyond and beyond yourself for a good job or for an attaboy or for a pat on the back. And so when I see it, it's more so that high achiever like myself, high achiever that's just going to do whatever it takes in spite of how you feel, in spite of how you feel mentally. And I think a lot of that is showing up a lot more nowadays, where people are talking about mental health, where people are wanting to talk about self-care. But before that, there was no balance. You know, you get into this whole hustle culture. A lot of that stuff is birthed out of trauma, birthed out of inner childhood stuff, birthed out of fear and anxiety and all of those things that really just don't really serve us for good.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
about you?
Same. You know, it's
Yeah.
the overperforming, over delivering, and it's operating from survival mode, right? It's operating from a place of fear. Is I've got to prove myself because if I do that, then they'll affirm me, and I will then feel worthy, or I feel like I belong, right? There's so much what we do can be coming from a place of like needing belonging, right? Also, it's just this deep rooted fear that people will see me in a certain kind of way if I don't overachieve, right? So I'm going to, and this also can get into cultural things, right? Because it's sometimes our bare minimum is already excellence because we're starting from
Yes.
because we're operating from fear. We're doing so much that we have warped our thinking in that just the bare minimum for us is like you're actually you're actually like excelling, you're doing A+ work, give yourself a break. But it's crazy because it's actually rewarded, in business, and it's rewarded in corporate, but our nervous system is not being rewarded, okay?
Right. And
Not at all. And that hustle culture thing, and what we are talking a bit more about self-care and things like that, but it's still very much the dominant culture.
yep.
It's the whole, I don't hear it as much these days, but the whole, I can sleep when I'm dead, or sleep is for suckers, that kind of thing, because we think that working is our identity when it's not. It's just the thing we do.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but talk about the difference between like what's our calling and our purpose and assignment versus the work we do.
Yeah, I think that's an important distinction because I think your calling and your assignment versus the work you do, sometimes they align, right? And when you're in that space, hallelujah, praise God, right? But a lot of us, especially if you've been in the 9 to 5 world, or, you have an education and then you're working as you're working through the education that you received.
Mhm.
But, and again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but when you are in your fullness, your full self, your purpose is going to show up everywhere you go.
Yes.
Let's just be honest.
Yes.
So I think it could get blurred really quickly, and I think that's okay. My position is that is okay because when you show up as authentically of all of who you are, that deep separation doesn't necessarily exist because it's all of who I am everywhere I go.
Mhm.
I show up with the fullness of who I am, with all of the gifts and all that I am. And I don't want to get too far into my program, but that is, I think, the beauty of my program as well is, yes, I'm a business strategist, but I'm also a woman of God,
Mhm.
and I'm going to pray for your
Yes.
business.
Yes.
We're going to connect in faith,
Mhm.
and I'm also praying that you get the deals that you're looking for.
Yes.
I'm praying that the sales and the revenue like equal, that we are able to manifest your dreams. So when you are truly aligned inwardly, it shows up everywhere that you go.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the specific ways these childhood wounds are showing up in everyday business and
Yeah.
operations. So when you're working with CEOs and you're working with business owners and you're working with entrepreneurs and those who are building businesses, wanting to scale, I can just imagine all the things you're seeing in regards to, okay, this is, we need to, these are some areas of opportunity. I would imagine, before I say that, I want to say that one of the ways, like I said earlier, when I was defining the mother wound, one of the ways it shows up in us is a need for control. And oftentimes we think that's just about power, but it isn't always about a desire or a need for power. It's oftentimes a need for predictability, a need for safety, a need for security. And what that ends up doing, what we end up doing because of our need for control is we micromanage. We don't trust anyone. We have problems delegating properly. We struggle with overall just authority control, right? So talk about what you're seeing in the business owners you're working with and how they are struggling to build systems around people who could help them scale.
Ooh, there are so many. There's so many things. I think the three you hit on a lot of them, and perfectionism comes into play as well. So there are a few things I would say. One is, along with the perfectionism, right? That makes it hard for any team member to create anything that is good enough on the first draft, second draft, or maybe even the third, right? It'll never be good enough. It's never good enough. It's always, and it creates a culture of blame, to be honest, because the question always is like, well, who did this? Or, there's no room for mistake, there's no room for failure, there's no room for learning on the job, right? Whereas in corporate, you see a lot more learning on the job, right? That's kind of like the idea. But in entrepreneurship, the margins are so thin. It's like we can't handle that. But the reality is, when you are working with people, they're going to do people things, which means they have human experiences and mistakes that happen along the way. A misspell here or there. um, I forgot a phone call here or there. Those sort of things are just natural and not necessarily able to systemize, because that's the other piece that I do as an operations expert is I systemize things. And so then the question is, well, why can't we just systemize it? Well, it is systemized, we just have humans doing the system. It just happens sometimes.
Yeah,
So it's really helping the business owners understand and create appropriate expectations, um, create the reality of what this really does look like, and then really settling in to their heart that it's going to be okay.
yeah, yeah. But no, and that sounds like I don't know, but it when it comes to this reparenting journey, y'all,
Yeah,
we sometimes have to talk to ourselves like we are toddlers. Like
it's true.
it's gonna be okay. Like
It's
you
gonna
make a mistake because again, this all ties back to childhood. So many of us were raised in environments where again there was no margin of error. We didn't have if you spill something, and people are frustrated with you, or they're yelling or they're criticizing. There was no room for humanity, and we don't realize the ways that is changing the way we perceive, the way our perspectives are being transformed by that kind of thing, and that's following us in how we operate with other people, with those who are working in our business, or how we expect things to flow. And it's like healing the mother wound will transform your expectations to
yeah,
be more aligned with reality.
yeah.
Like humans make mistakes, and that's okay. Furthermore, when you make a mistake, it's okay. Like beyond your employees, as you make mistakes too. Like tell yourself that it's okay.
It's okay.
I have to do this to myself like often. Like I do something, I'm like, oh, that's so like I'm so irritated. I'm like, but why am I mad at myself making a mistake? Like it's
Yeah.
okay, you
I
know?
literally, I no, I use those words for myself. It's okay. Like it really is. And as a partner to the business owner, I also say that out loud too. It's
Yeah.
okay. Like, and it's gonna be okay. Um, and to themselves as well, because you can see the spiral begin to happen of like, oh my God, this happened, da, 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 and then like this and this and this and this and that. And I'm like, hold on, because a lot of times we're projecting, but the reality is humans are also receiving your service. and they understand
They understand.
that it might happen to them or some misstep. As long as you have the customer service to fix it, acknowledge it, own it, that sort of thing. And it's not happening all the time. It's like
Right.
one or two people. So it's really just allowing them to zoom out, like
Hmm.
pulling them out and reframing so that you can really see that it really is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything is figure outable.
it is.
Everything's figure outable. We'll figure it out. When
Yeah.
it comes
So
to, go ahead.
I was gonna give another example of how it shows up. You were saying in business, so I would say in delegation. What I've learned by working with business owners who struggle with this is they really do. Their identity is the business,
Mm,
and so it's like, oh, you don't really want to get out of the day to day.
mm,
Oh, because my role in my job is to move you from having to make every small decision, knowing every small detail. But that also means you have to let go a little bit. That also means there needs to be a little bit of space. That also means you have a little bit more time. Well, what am I gonna do with a little bit more time when this is all that I do? I'm like,
yeah.
oh. So it's all wrapped up in
Yeah.
like this is my baby. It's like, no, it's more than your baby. You feel like this is who you are. Like you have
Yeah.
nothing else, nowhere else to give. And so that makes it difficult to delegate. That makes it difficult to trust
Yeah.
a standard operating procedure. That makes
Yeah.
it difficult to trust the system to actually operate in a way that will produce the results that you really want,
Yeah.
and that you know that you can get without you. And so then it's like now a conversation of, but you're still good enough. Like it ties into the worth piece,
Hmm.
it ties into validation and the overperforming.
Certainly. Recently, and when we were given the snippet of this on Instagram Live last week, I talked about this. This gave this example. But over the holidays, I had a Christmas party, and getting ready for it, I had some friends come from out of town, and they were like, "Just tell us what you need help with before people get here, and we'll help you, set up and everything." So I had given them like, "This is what this is. These are the rest of my items to do. If you can just help with these things, I'll be good." Long story short, they're like, "Bet we got it." And I just kept doing the stuff. So my friend Alicia finally goes like, "Girl, like go, disappear, like leave, you know?" And I'm like, "Okay, I just one more thing." And she finally says like, "You haven't even given me the opportunity to fail you. You have not even given me you won't even give me the space. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
prove that I can or can't do this. At some point, we have to trust ourselves that we've communicated it properly, because sometimes that's what it is too. Ain't the other person we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust, like the systems we've put in place. We don't trust the instructions we've given. We don't trust, whatever it is. But that thing has stuck with me because it was a Christmas party, but I see where I can be that way in so many other areas of my life. Like you gotta give people the opportunity and delegate. Like there's no way to grow these things if we have our hand in everything. It's just
Right.
it's counterproductive. And we think it's like, oh well, this is my thing, or if I don't do it, it won't get done, or if I don't do it, it won't get done right. But ultimately, back to what you said, it's about understanding who we are and our limitations, right? Like we have to understand our own limitations. We just simply cannot do it all. Otherwise, we're going to lead to burnout. And then, like you said, that whole spiral, like this doesn't end well. You have to delegate properly. You have to.
And it's a recipe. It goes exactly against what you say you want. That's what makes it difficult for someone like me. I'm like, I am pushing hard to make sure you meet every goal that you have set. And then you are the one that's creating a barrier, a bottleneck, have to run it by you all the time. And it's like, no, we can't get here if I continue to have to go here with you. And so what that's the one thing that I've realized is like you're getting in your own way
Yeah.
of what you say you want. You have this vision for 2026, you have these goals written down, you have these dollar figures that you're saying you're going to achieve, and you're getting in your own way. And you
Yes.
cannot scale getting in your own way.
Yeah. And this is why it's so important to just call it what it is, which is these inner child wounds, because we don't want to get in our own way, but it's the needs of the business are competing with our personal emotional needs.
Ooh, that's a bar.
It's I know what my business needs, which is why I called on you, Mia, to come in,
Yeah.
and do these things. But no, this is my identity because I wasn't praised as a child unless I performed well. I wasn't praised. I wasn't affirmed just for being. No, I was praised for doing. So my brain tells me if I do, I'll be good enough.
Yeah.
So if you come in and tell me that, oh, I'm not needed as much. Whoa, 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 no, because who's gonna praise me? Who's gonna affirm me? Who's gonna tell me I'm good enough? I can't just do nothing. I can't rest. God forbid. No. I can't do that. I need to be constantly performing so that you can tell me, or that I can feel like I'm good enough. Like I can feel adequate. That's what's really happening, and that's why we're having this conversation, because that's the piece of you that needs healing in order for your business to go to the next level.
And I've had business owners literally say, either just like come to me for everything, or it's like they'll leave things out. So then, like, when you go to do exactly what they said they wanted to be done, things are left out. And I'm like, oh, you need to be needed. That
Talk about
need
it.
to be needed will destroy your business.
Yes.
It will destroy your business for so many reasons, but it will destroy your business. It destroys morale. It destroys the team members, and it creates a culture where you are coming in and you are so critical, and you are um always wanting to put your cape on and save the day because you need to be needed.
Hmm.
And that, my friend, will keep you in the same place, in the
Hmm.
same cycle, in the same pattern over and over again.
Hmm. And that need to be needed sometimes is the only way people feel accepted, right? Like, I, this is my place in their life. To the point that some folks will create a need. Let me, and
Yes.
sometimes we do it subconsciously.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's self sabotage. We do that, these things subconsciously, because again, we're trying to get these basic emotional needs met, and we are wired in a way where our bodies, our minds, our spirit, all of our being, it's committed to getting the need met. We just sometimes don't know how to do it in a healthy way, right? But like you said, it's self sabotage. We'll play this loop, and we will continue to position ourselves where we're needed. And it's like you do realize that you're valuable, even if you're not needed
Yeah.
in this moment. Like you're needed in general, but maybe not in this capacity anymore, and that is okay.
It's okay.
That is okay. But it's the fear of rejection, right?
Oh, you want to
It's
talk about that?
it's the fear of it's a an example of the fear of rejection, because again, and my therapist, this is about something else, but my therapist told me this last year, because she was like, you keep doing these extracurricular things that are burnt, that are like overwhelming you. And like, this isn't work related. This isn't like spiritual assignment related. This is just random stuff. Why do you keep doing it? And we traced it, and she finally said, oh, you feel accepted. Like, this is the way you feel accepted. She's like, but it's not even real acceptance. You're providing spaces for people to just come over. Like, of course, people. Anyways, I want to get the details, but my point is, we realize that, oh, this is the way you find acceptance. It's to position yourself to be needed. That's not true acceptance. Deal with that, and we
Yeah.
did. And praise the Lord, I've overcome. But yeah, it's a form of a fear of rejection. Let's talk more about this rejection piece, though, because I know you've seen this come up with the clients you work with. Um, how have you? I'm gonna frame it like this, because we can go several ways with this, but I'll frame it like this. How have you seen the fear of rejection show up in business owners?
Ooh. Um, I find it where people are having a difficult time showing up to quote unquote sell themselves. So, having positioning yourself to have a sales discussion, right? To even get rejected, honey, like to even say yes or no. I find it in ways where people the pricing of their actual service that they provide. And this now talk about stories. So a few years ago when I started my business, I had a certain price point and my mentor was like, "Oh, okay. So like tell me again like your background." And I was like, "Oh, my corporate experience. I got this certification." And he
No,
goes, "Wait."
no, 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 no. Let's talk your talk. No, don't. Let's not be vague. What's the experience? Come on, tell us. What is the experience? What is the certification? Tell us.
So when I was telling him, he's like, "Okay, so we have over 20 years of corporate experience doing the very thing in operations that you're saying you're going to offer as a service." Okay, check. You have a project management professional certification. Okay. You also have a Six Sigma black belt
Mhm, mhm.
that also is helping to resolve problems and create processes and structures. All of those things, credentials, are benefits that your clients are going to get when they work with you. Were you going to say something?
No, I was
No,
just making sure you said all the thing, all the
all of
credentials.
them. Gotcha.
Mhm.
So, so he's like, so why is your price point here? Versus if you were in corporate, you would not be accepting said price. And I was like, oh, because see, now it's personal.
Huh?
Okay. Because when it was corporate, Fortune 50 companies, little old me, I'm just one extra person on the payroll. But when we're face to face, it's personal because now I know whatever you're giving to me, you're not necessarily giving to your child, right? Now you're not paying your bills with this. Now it became extremely personal when working with business owners, and I value people's money, right? I value that. And he's like, right. And then all of the things you're going to be saving them so that they can feed their children, right? So that they can go on vacation, so that they can experience the freedom. And you are who you are. So I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, literally, I had to go home and sit with it
Wow.
because the thing was, I had to then make sure I felt worthy of what I was bringing. Not only what I was bringing, I already knew I could do that, but the price tag related to it because I know how people see money. So anyway, so that's my own personal example on how and in my entrepreneurship journey, and I see that so often in how we price our services, price our products, how available we become to people because we don't want to be rejected. We want you to be like, "Oh, okay, she's just going to do anything for me." And that feels valuable. Not anymore. That don't feel that like, "Oh, I know I could call her 3 o'clock in the morning because she's gonna be there." No, 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 you can't. And you lack the boundaries. And so that's what I see the most is the lack of boundaries. Not really pricing your product to really the value that you are providing. Because
Yeah.
I thought about this too. Because it's easy for you, you think I shouldn't charge this. But what's easy for you is a mountain for someone else.
Yes.
And your years of experience alone as the value that is needed or as the value for whatever price point you choose for your service.
I'm so glad you said that because a part of that fear of rejection, we end up self-rejecting. And one of the ways we do that is by not fully claiming our expertise. And sometimes we do that because what I'm an expert in, it feels so easy. But that's one of the reasons you're the
You're the
expert.
expert.
That's one of the reasons because it's so easy. It's like breathing. It's like breathing for you. That's that's when you know I'm on the right path because things that are not they don't come easy for others, but for you it's like it flows like water.
Yeah.
But because and I want is and it's especially black women. I know this could apply to all, but especially black women. I want us to get out of this thinking that things have to be hard to be valuable,
Yeah.
right? Like everything got to be hard. Like
Right.
everything it doesn't have to be hard. If it's easy for you, lean into that.
Yes.
Lean into that and find your flow there. Find your expertise there because I'm sure you are already excelling, but you're self-rejecting and self-sabotaging. Meanwhile, there are people who have need of you in what you offer.
And I want to
Um,
share this on the self rejection part. And I think for me, that's where I really was able to make a turning point in my healing journey and truly acknowledging when it actually showed up. Because that's the hidden part, right? Is you don't know, you're unaware that
mhm.
it is showing up. And so I wasn't able to place it and trace it. Like you said, your therapist helped you do, and my therapist helped me to see that there were times where I was doing my own self rejection, and that tore me up because I was like, as much as I've gone through, right? As much as we've endured just in life as a Black woman in a corporate space, climbing the corporate ladder, all the things you go through, all the conversations that you have that you know are beneath you, that you know are meant to make you smaller, like all of these things that are happening in life, to know that now I'm also self-rejecting. Oh, I had to sit in that. Oh, that took me all night. I think I cried all I think my pillow was wet at the idea of, but now you're doing this to yourself. Man, but that is what wounds do. Unhealed, unattended to wounds puts you in cages, self cages. You put your own self in a cage. You put your own self with a muzzle over your mouth. You do it to yourself. And that alone helped me turn the corner and say, I never again,
Yeah,
never again.
yeah.
Oh no. It made me even more serious about dealing with it, digging it up, crying the tears, doing what I needed to do to get healed, because what I won't do is stab my own self.
Hello.
Yeah.
And there's also this fear. It's like, you know, well, it's that fear. It's like, oh, well, if I do this, like, say, if I say no, to a client or something like that, right? Because you
Yeah.
find that there's misalignment. It's like, oh, well, I'll lose money or I'll lose love and approval. I'll lose, status or whatever it is. It's like, what do we really want though? And this again is back to it's like the
Yeah.
business need versus our own emotional needs.
Yeah.
Because the clients can't be feeling that they can't do it for us. They can't do that. They're not here for our emotional
They're
needs.
not
They
here for
know
that.
we have to separate the two. Um, what have you seen in regards to like even how we market or don't or don't market? Because of that fear of rejection.
It's the don't market for the most part. And because here's the thing, that plus perfectionism in marketing, baby, it'll take you out. You ain't never gonna post. Even tonight,
Child.
even tonight, as an example, if you're on here, we were late, but we were late because we were having technical difficulties. Um, but that's the point, right? Is like the perseverance to do it anyway, to do it. We're late, but we showed up, and to give ourselves the grace. And so from a marketing perspective, it's everything has to be perfect before it's sent out, or we don't even do it because we don't have whatever person you've compared yourself to say they do it better, to say their lighting, their walls are wider, their granite is nicer, whatever it is that you've said to yourself, and an excuse that you've given to yourself to not really put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And one of the keys to success that I've learned and still am learning is the speed to failure.
Mm.
Speed to fail.
Mm.
When you are wounded, that don't make no that now what we're not trying to do is fail. And when you are marketing, because I don't have a marketing background, all of this is like newer for me. And what I have realized is you just have to test it out. You just have to put it out there and see what happens. You just got to sit out there, look like a fool for a second. You got to sit out there and not know exactly how to do it, figure out a whole new skill, all of those things. But if you allow the wound to hold you back, then you'll never show up,
And
or
just
you'll
even,
show up inconsistently. And that also is like delayed obedience.
yeah,
It doesn't work.
that is something as simple as just trying. That trial and error is so
Right.
powerful in regards to how we heal, because the more we try something, and even if we fail that first time, we figure it out, it just continues to boost your confidence. And it's like, oh, I am capable. Oh, I can figure it out. And suddenly those voices, those critical voices, and those voices that didn't affirm you, they suddenly those voices shrink, and my experiences begin to be louder. And then I'm like, oh, I can rely on that. This new information, I overcame that. I figured it out. I started this with no blueprint, right? That we just have to keep trying, right? And it's like there's no blueprint to this healing thing. But when we try, when we keep trying, we suddenly find ourselves like, okay, I am adequate, right? And sometimes that's as simple as saying, you know what, I may not have this skill, but I can go find it. I can go get help, right? Because we are worthy of asking for help. Hello, we can ask for help too. So yeah, that trying, just keep on trying it. It's so powerful, because the more experiences we have of overcoming something, even if it's small, right? As simple as us trying this live tonight 3 times,
Yes.
the more we try and the more we overcome that, the woundedness, it just gets quieter and quieter, and the victory gets louder and louder.
And I think that only happens when you are able to acknowledge and celebrate yourself for the
Yes.
small wins. Because what we know to be true, just in our own journeys, is we have a way to minimize what we have learned. So I'm going to use you as an example, Miss
Okay.
Podcaster. Okay. She's like, I know how to podcast. I have, but people keep asking me how to podcast, but I don't have X, Y, Z, A, B, or C. Right. But we acknowledge and know that you're able to do it and you're steps ahead of someone else. And that is the point of being able to celebrate even small wins. It's like, oh, but I haven't achieved this. It's like, yes, but you've achieved that. And so, one good way to do it, obviously, you want to acknowledge that yourself, but having friends, sisterhood, right? That can remind you to say your certifications, right? That can remind you of those little things that are not so little, so that you can continue to acknowledge and be
Yes.
aware of when you are personally demonstrating some of
Yes.
those gaps.
And we need those reminders so
We
much,
need those.
especially business owners, particularly business owners with these kinds of childhood wounds.
Yes.
Because, and you said this last week on our Instagram live, we were, talking about it. It's like, at least in corporate, you're getting performance evaluations where you can get those attaboys. In business ownership, you're not getting that. And when you're already conditioned to receive criticism only, and now no one else, is affirming you, it's so important to have friends on the way to remind you, hey, remember you when you did that? Remember when you did that? That was really dope. That was really, really cool. And especially for those of us who are recovering perfectionists, our
Yeah.
eye is always on the next thing. It's always on, like, it's like, thank you, but like I'm headed towards the mark, okay?
Yes.
And it's so necessary.
Yes.
It's beyond flattery. This
Yeah.
isn't about just compliments or being affirmed. Our soul needs that. We
Yeah.
need to stop long enough to recognize what we have accomplished. We need, our memory needs that. We need, because remember, we're talking about wounds that happened decades ago. And
Yeah.
we've been ruminating on this pain for decades. We need new thoughts to ruminate on and to meditate on. We need that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the word tells us is about renewing our mind. We have to renew our minds. So we need to introduce new experiences and remind ourselves, yes, and this again, this isn't about being shallow or isn't about flattery. It's about healing ourselves so that we can operate out of wholeness, not out of a spirit of fear or rejection or abandonment. We need to be reminded of those things. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna double down on it again because I also think because that conditioning, because it's not natural for us, right? And especially if you are high achieving we or you consider yourself being strong, right? That could feel weak to be able to speak kindly to yourself,
Mm,
right? And that is a trick of the enemy, and that is a lie, to not be able to speak kind to yourself, to be kind to yourself, to be gracious with yourself.
yes,
And so I love that you said that we need
we
that,
need it.
because if you've had that wound, you acknowledge that you have, know that you need that, and feed yourself that. Feed yourself, condition yourself. Alice and I were talking a few weeks ago, and we were like, we contend for happiness. We contend to see the light. We contend to see the positive things, because that is not my natural wiring. I don't want to say not my natural wiring, but that is not my natural conditioning based on how I was raised. It was very critical, very self critical and critical, judgmental, all of that. And so it's very easy to go there. But I condition myself to think of the positive thing, to see the light, to see the positive in everything. And so just know that if you deal with this wound, please condition yourself. Please surround yourself. Please create a community of
Yes.
positivity.
Yes. And especially when you're in business, you have to surround yourself with, it's going to test you, but you have to surround yourself with people who are going to speak life. And sometimes we want to say, like, oh, it's not that deep, or oh, these are just jokes. Let me tell you something about words. Words are seeds, words are powerful. We need
Yeah.
to be surrounded by people who are going to speak life and who are going to check us when we are not being kind to ourselves. Like Mia will check me in a minute. Like, I don't like how you're talking to my friend.
Right.
Talking about me, like how you're my, like, I don't like, check that. Because when we're building something, when the Lord has given us something to steward, we're going to be accountable for that. We want to steward it well, but that starts with stewarding our soul well.
And I feel
And
this. Oh, go ahead.
no, please.
I feel this in my spirit too, because I feel like this is also a reason a lot of people don't start. Um, is you don't have the right community and the right support system, right? And you're not speaking the right words to yourself, and you're not feeding yourself in the right way. And so the conditions of your mind have kept you back, have kept you stagnant, have kept you stuck. And you think that it could be external things that are happening, but truly what it is, it's you. It's how you have thought about yourself, it's um how that perseverance, like that you're not pushing through those things because of the conditions of your soul. And so that is really why we're here. That's why we do the work that we do. And that's why I feel like the Lord has called me to visionaries, to shoulder the vision, so that we can help, birth the vision that you have. And so I just want to speak to that, because I don't want anyone that has watched this to continue to stay on the sideline because of a critical mindset or critical ear. Just do it anyway. Just
Yeah.
go anyway. It's not going to look right at first. And that's the thing with entrepreneurship. Like, it's tough at the beginning.
Mhm.
It's tough building. And so you have to get a steady diet of positivity, a steady diet of others who are in the grind with you to normalize, to steady the boat and say, oh, okay, like I'm not crazy, because
Yeah.
sometimes the no's or the rejection or the things not working out exactly how you thought it was going to be, you think that's a sign to give up, but it's not.
It's
So,
not. It's not. And it require when building anything, right? Or building business, it's gonna require vulnerability.
oh,
And we hate that, oh, we hate that. I often say this, one of our core needs as humans is to be seen, to be witnessed, to be experienced, right? To be seen fully. But having these kinds of wounds, while we need that, it's also one of our biggest fears is to be seen, right? Because like I'm exposed.
mm,
And when deep down we don't feel good enough, we don't feel adequate, the very thing we need is what makes us afraid to be seen. But building, starting businesses is going to require vulnerability. And my pastor, Pastor Brendan Clark, said this years and years and years ago. He said, there is no victory without vulnerability.
mm,
We have to just push through. And it's something powerful to know that even if we do fail, like I started a business and I don't know, so I was living in Utah, and for even high school, college, I just knew I wanted to get into wedding planning. I love event planning. I love coordinating. I love hosting. I love love. Well, all of that to me equals wedding planning. So I started a wedding planning business. And I mean, I invested my all so much time and so many resources in getting the logo and the website and the graphics. So I got all these people involved, and I'm going to expos and got my friends helping me and all of this, just to realize after a couple of weddings, this ain't it. This is not my grace.
right.
This isn't my grace. And we just quietly bowed out because,
Right.
and I had to deal with the feelings of that, of
Yeah.
what felt like failure or what felt like wasted time, or honestly, the feelings of what are people going to say about me.
Mm,
Like the my announcement of it just came up in my memories a few days ago. And I'm
mm,
like, I forgot about that. But I did that. Like I did that. I started it, I did it, and I realized this isn't it, and we can pivot. But I really had to push through the vulnerable what was vulnerable for me. Like this didn't end the way I thought it would, and I wasn't successful in this. I really thought I had what it took. I don't, and that's okay.
that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. My friends still love me. You know what I'm saying? I've gone on to do other things very well, to accomplish other things. Um, but my point is your vulnerability will be required. So let's lean into that. There is strength in that. There's beauty in that. There's courage in that. And ultimately your victory is there.
Yeah, and I love that, and I know that you're able to do that because your identity is not tied into that. It's not tied into the performance. And the beautiful thing about being on the healing journey and on the other side, which I never know if we really are, but on the other side is being able to know that I am worthy
Yeah.
with just being me.
Yes.
Like I don't have to, I don't have to do these grand achievements
Yeah.
to be worthy, to be
Yeah.
loved, that I still deserve to be loved, that I still deserve um, to be valued, because my value is not wrapped up in performance, in business, in things, in success. My true success now, because I've been on this healing journey, is truly knowing that I'm worthy.
Yeah.
That's my success. Is every
Yeah.
day, in every moment, knowing that I'm still worthy, right?
Yeah.
Because I have all the things that we've talked about has been my journey, and I still know that I am worthy, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that I made a mistake, knowing that I've been in perfection, knowing all of those things, I condition my mind again to know that I'm worthy with just being me.
Just being you. And
Yeah.
that's not just therapy speak. That's not just cultural talk. That is the truth. That is God's truth. We get to say, I am worthy because God said it. The creator of all creation says, I am worthy.
Yeah.
The creator of all creation says, I am loved. The creator is telling you today, you are loved simply because you are his, simply because you belong to him,
Yeah.
simply because you are his daughter, because you are his son. You are loved. God approves of you. He already did.
Yes.
Throughout all the ages, before you were conceived, you were approved of.
Yeah.
And I want to say this because there is a, as the culture shifts, it's like we want to get away from this what we call therapy speak, or it's like I'm just trying to fluff myself up, and it's like no, no, no. We have to get rooted in the truth, and this is the truth. One of my favorite scriptures, I believe it's in Mark. It's when it's what says, this is my son in whom I'm well pleased.
Yeah.
It sticks with me because God says this about Jesus the Son before his purpose and mission on the earth was fulfilled,
Yeah.
right? It's like before he was doing the miracles, signs, and wonders, God says, "This is my son in whom I am well pleased." And the
Yeah.
Lord is saying that to you today. This
Yeah.
is my daughter, this is my son in whom I'm well pleased, simply because you belong. And everything else we get to do that out of that place, out of that truth. I am worthy. Now I can go do,
Mm,
now I can go build. I am worthy. And then I go. But we
mm,
start from that place. We don't perform for love. We operate out of a place of love.
yeah.
So if this conversation resonates with you, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to dig deeper, because God doesn't expose anything to shame us, to condemn us. If the Lord is revealing something within you, some woundedness within you, it's because the Lord wants to heal you, wants to heal you so that you can go on to the next steps that the Lord already has ordered and prepared for you. So, Nia, will you tell us about what you have coming up and how you can assist business owners
Yeah.
in this new year 2026?
Yes, in this new year of 2026, I am here to help you meet your goals that you have for 2026. So, in a couple weeks, I am going to have a webinar, and I believe you're going to put the link, or it's already in the Facebook,
Yes.
the link for the mailing list so that you can get all the details. Make sure your notifications are on. And Effortless Exec Systems is my business. And so if you get an email from that business name, please accept it. That'll give you all of the details. I'm going to talk about how to build your business, the structures, the pillars of your business before you actually grow it and scale it. All of the things we talked tonight, if you don't have some of these, if you don't have these pillars in place, scaling is going to overwhelm you. And so I am here to make sure that you don't fall into the pitfalls that others have, and that you go informed, that you go healed, and that you go empowered to do everything that you're meant to do. So in 2 weeks, going to have a webinar. Please sign up to the email list so you can get all of the details.
Wonderful. And that mailing list link is pinned in the comments. So
Perfect.
go to the top of the comments. You should see it there. Click on that link. You can sign up for our mailing list.
Perfect. Perfect.
And also, in the meantime, please feel free to go over to YouTube to check out our podcast called Navigating Sisterhood. We have several episodes out, so get caught up. Leave us a comment, a like, a share, and while you're at it, go subscribe too. And we hope to do more of these lives. But yeah, if this resonated with you, or you thought about somebody like that could really benefit from this conversation, please send it to them. We're going to keep the replay up, and we're also going to upload it to our Navigating Sisterhood podcast, so that it'll be evergreen over there and folks can look at it whenever. So thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank y'all for commenting and engaging in conversation. We really appreciate y'all. And yeah, we're gonna sign off. So y'all have a great rest of the week. And yeah, the Lord is with you. What we typically say on our podcast as we end it is what, Mia?
Sisterhood is good for the soul.
Friendship refreshes the soul. Bye,